ES Cinder, a remix of Dark Souls 3 by Rotaka. Folks, you know what that song means.
I sure do.
Oh, I'm glad somebody does from month to month, because honestly, it all bleeds together, and sometimes
A
the
little
old
bit.
brain doesn't remember very well.
Yeah, I was gonna say it means that it's April.
Ah,
So
yes, good. Finally, we are out
welcome,
of the endless march.
right? Well,
Well, yeah, for the most part.
hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, welcome to Insert Credits Round 89. Remain vigilant. I am Tormod.
And I'm Mr. Bond. Ooh, I like that we mixed that up just fucking all natural like. Wow.
Right?
We are on point tonight.
Absolutely. We have a whole host of interesting things tonight, including the two of us. Ha!
That's two hosts worth of interesting things if my math is correct.
Absolutely.
Oh, so welcome everybody to Insert Credits. This is our little podcast about the Vigi games and Vigi game related accoutrement. We start off with some news around the world, releases, legal stuff, new games, old games, updates, etc., etc. Then we listen to some tunes for a bonus level, and then we go into what we've been playing over the past month since our last show, which would have been back in March. Then more tunes, and then at the end, which is fast becoming my favorite section. It's always been my favorite section of the show, honestly. But even more so now, we do some design, some real ad hoc design of a
On
Vigi
the air,
game on
live.
the air live without even knowing what we're going to design
I was gonna say
until
with dice rolling of sorts.
the minute of, essentially, at the end of the show after our last segment of songs there. So welcome everybody. Glad you're here for this, for us. It's very sweet of you.
Yes, it is.
Let's get started with some housekeeping. Our next show in May is set for the 14th at 7 p.m. CDT. That is the big round 9-0. My goodness.
Sure is.
I can't
Wow.
believe it.
Yeah, I keep looking through every time we do the show notes and how we've got everything laid out by year and everything, and I'm just like, holy shit, I'm old.
It's a big grid of things we got going on now, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, soon enough, it's gonna be like more than half my life's worth, right? Maybe math someday,
Wow,
somewhere.
that would be if we fast forward a decade, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see
Phew.
any reason to stop,
All
but
right. Yeah.
you know,
I mean, stuff always happens. There's always new games, and heck, if anybody's
I
going to talk
say
about it, may as well be us.
I'm gonna make more tech impulse purchases because that's my sickeningly expensive hobby. But
Hey,
whatever.
everybody's got a vice to them, right? I can think of worse ones than that.
Absolutely, and somebody's gonna give you very uneducated reviews, so there you go.
Yeah, fair. So May 14th for round 90. In June, we are up to, I believe, the 18th.
That's true with, guess the number?
91, I
Hey, there you
think,
go,
if
N plus
math.
1.
All right, very good. And then that would put us out to July, which, since we are kind of sticking to the 3-month forecast here,
Uh-huh.
looks like the 16th might be pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Pretty close to the middle of the month, and a pretty good, like, even split of weeks from June's show. So we'll call that, what was that, round 92? Get the
92.
invite for that later. And then we'll leave August, September, October, etc., for next time.
It's true.
Because 3 months out is, honestly, more than enough. All right, so housekeeping taken care of around the world. A lot's been happening. I had to, again, resist just packing 2 or 3 pages worth of news. So I picked 4.
Well,
4
there you go.
items in total. So, Time Splitters 2, a very highly anticipated release that never really came to fruition back whenever it was supposed to be released the first time, as a sequel to the very popular Time Splitters 1, has been found entirely embedded in the 2016 title Homefront: The Revolution, accessible via a sequence of very peculiar control inputs as a debug code to unlock it.
Uh-huh.
And according to the dev that was, one of the devs that was responsible for putting such a thing in there, it even supports multiplayer, assuming you can meet a few conditions, like hacking a certain item into a map within Homefront that kicks off Time Splitters 2. If you hack in, I think it's 2 arcade machines with this game on it, and you boot them up, each player boots it up at the same time, it goes to a multiplayer menu, and you can do multiplayer Time Splitters 2. So this is really amusing, having this, heretofore unreleased game embedded more or less in full in another game that nobody really knew about until recently.
Okay.
So 5 years
5 years later.
later, right?
Uh-huh.
So wild and cool. Like it's Easter eggs, but it's also like that's a dang big Easter egg to have another game within a game. So
Uh-huh.
kudos for all of that.
See, I was all gung ho with finding the original Pitfall inside of the SNES game Pitfall: The Mayan Adventure, which was sure a video game, but
Yeah,
yeah, you kind of had to look under the stairs or something somewhere, and you ended up finding this terminal with the old game on it. And yeah,
nice.
arguably the older game was more fun than the new one, but
Was it
yeah.
like the OG Atari 2600
Oh,
Pitfall?
it sure
Oh,
was.
heck
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was either recreated or emulated inside of the SNES, but yeah, I don't know, shrug.
Sounds like something the SNES was perfectly capable of. I
Yeah,
hope.
yeah.
Uh,
I would hope so too.
oh my goodness. Well, slightly worse news in terms of new games and or old games. Because of a firmware limitation and a weird network setup that Sony has done for the PS3, the PS4, and the PS5, I believe. Downloadable PS3 games, as well as all retail PS4 games, may well become unplayable soon if
Uh
people's CMOS batteries die.
oh god.
Because apparently there is a mandatory at least one-time check-in with Sony's servers. It's essentially their network time protocol servers, NTP,
Mhm.
which is going to coordinate pretty well with them shutting down stores and such, which is coming up. So if those stores and check-in servers go down and your CMOS battery dies and it needs to recheck in and that server is no longer reachable, well, bye-bye to your downloadable PS3 games and your retail PS4 games because they won't be able to verify that they should be there.
Well, that sounds very Sony.
Yeah, it surely is. Now this isn't unfixable as this is part of the firmware on those
Mhm.
consoles. So Sony could do a good and fix that little thing, so that people can still play the games that they have and own. But I won't hold my breath on it.
So Sony's going to be closing their PSP store on July 2nd. The PS3 and the Vita stores are going to close on the 27th of August. So they have a little bit of time.
They do, and it may not be directly tied to those stores. It may be an ancillary service to that, but there's a pretty good chance that people aren't making enough noise about it, and it's going to happen, and people are going to get pissed off, and they might end up fixing it after the fact. But who knows? Sometimes. Hey, Sony, never stop, never change.
Mhm. Mhm.
On a good note for them, though, the PlayStation 5's first 5 month sales numbers are the highest ever for a US console launch.
Wait, wait, okay. Yeah, I suppose scalpers buying things is still buying things.
Right? Sure. And the interesting to note thing about this particular stat is not from the number of consoles sold, but the dollar amount. Number of consoles sold, I believe that record still goes to the Switch.
Huh.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a historical number. It's a record-breaking number, whatever it happened to be, but in dollar amounts and not in consoles actually moved. So kudos, Sony. I guess you made a good piece of hardware. Please fix firmware. Uh, hmm. Hmm. OBS, the Open Broadcaster software, now
The
has
one that we're
native.
using right now.
Yeah, exactly. This is not an ad. Now has native support for NVIDIA's AI and machine learning noise reduction technology as an audio source
Okay.
filter.
Cool.
Previously, that was only available through NVIDIA's proprietary app that would, install on your OS somewhere and run alongside other things. But now you can turn it on inside your little OBS stream. That's
Nice.
neat.
Mhm.
Very cool to see technology march on. Now, I'm not sure if this is a Windows only thing. I would presume maybe at the start, but they've been pretty good about extending that across platforms for all of OBS. So,
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, NVEnc is definitely part of the capabilities of Linux OBS, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay,
Surely
so
is.
as they keep talking about it being RTX voice, I have to imagine it's the same kind of thing. So I'm hoping that you would have access to that.
Right, and I'm guessing it's a pair of the capability of the card itself, and then the driver, and then the hooks into it from OBS proper. So, Here's hoping
Pulse
that
audio.
that's already universal and already out there. I mean, I probably wouldn't use it personally myself. I've got enough other audio gear to take care of that for me.
Mm,
But for anybody who has an NVIDIA card and looking for some pretty reasonable noise reduction tech, their little bit, it was formerly called RTX Voice. I don't know what they're calling it now, um,
mm.
but it is there. It is there for use. Pretty exciting stuff. Technology
And
marches
apparently
on.
it's also compatible with the GTX line.
I believe so. Yes, their most recent update to it did allow certain later generation GTX cards. I think is it the 10 series and beyond?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Anything with enough horsepower to it to do it without the RTX specific, tensor
Right.
cores or whatever the heck they're calling them nowadays,
Uh-huh,
is
uh-huh.
able to take advantage of that. My guess is 10 series plus, but I won't stand behind that until I actually look it up. All right, that's all I have for particularly exciting news points. What's on your list?
All right. Well, let's go ahead and continue on with NVIDIA news. So, as we've had DLSS around now that they're on version 2, 3, I think it's still 2. DLSS, of course, meaning deep learning super sampling. It's a technology that allows you to have a lower resolution asset given to you, and there's AI that's computed somewhere in the card, usually those tensor cores if you have an RTX card, that would upscale it to be a larger resolution. So, say for instance, you had an input resolution of 720p and you ended up bringing it up to 1440p. And DLSS is a fast, hardware driven way to do that. So, formerly, it was one of those things like on PC, Final Fantasy 15 was I want to say, the premier game that they ended up revealing this technology in, along with some other things like hair effects and turf effects and things like that. So they had to closely integrate it within game engines for it to be a thing. So now it's coming to Unity as a part of the engine update later this year. Coming in Unity 2021.2 will be support for anybody to just add in DLSS support should they choose to. Um, Allegedly, it's as easy as opening your old Unity projects, plopping it in there, and rebuilding the game.
Hmm.
So that has a lot of implications, of course. And I'm going to continue with my not conspiracy theories, but my wild hedging guesses here. So about that 4K Switch rumor,
It
a lot of Switch games are made in Unity, and that would sure make that a lot easier to do, wouldn't it?
sure
Maybe
would.
maybe plop in some more refined textures to your games and magically they look excellent in 4K and probably even better at just the standard 1080. But regardless, like, that's sure an interesting timeline for people who are talking about the 4K Switch being a thing later this year. Hmm. So I'm wondering if those two things are going to be correlated. But
Considering the rumored NVIDIA chipset and/or hardware upgrades for said 4K Switch, yeah, that would make a lot
mhm,
of
mhm,
sense.
absolutely. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, anything to increase fidelity, even if it's not a true upgraded texture or whatnot. I mean, something's better than nothing. And with the high increase in people getting higher resolution displays, we're starting to see a lot of PC gamers finally move away from 1080p into 1440p, higher frame rates and such. So 1440p gaming is kind of a thing right now. 4K is still not nearly as popular, but we're moving into things past what, traditional game consoles would be supporting. Really starting to see a lot of support for higher resolutions as we hit the PS4 and above. So, really curious to see where that goes. Kind of pivoting back toward Microsoft and kind of making fun of Sony.
Hmm.
Allegedly, and this is still in testing, allegedly, free to play games may soon no longer require Xbox Live accounts. So
Hmm.
instead of having to, sign with your Xblog gamer tag and go to download something and run it and it being tied to your account is, yeah, you've got a license for this thing that's free. You can allegedly soon start to download titles off of the Microsoft Xbox store and just play them. So that would be kind of neat. I noticed that Microsoft doesn't seem to give a shit on Windows 10. If an app is free, they'll suggest that you sign in, but they don't require it. So
Hmm.
basically, the little sign in prompt appears, and you just X go away Microsoft, and it just downloads it anyway. So realistically, that could have been a pilot for that. The store infrastructure is the same across all of their architecture at this point. Realistically, the only reason to sign in is to get something that you have a license for that's paid. So I could definitely see that being a real thing. I've noticed that in Windows 10 for the last 18 months now, if not longer. So why not? I mean,
Bethesda really needs to take notes then, because they fucked up with bundling all the classic Doom shit with Doom Eternal and
yeah.
requiring your Bethesda sign in or whatever to get access to. It's like, come on, really?
hmm
Nah. Nah.
I mean, it's really easy to take a shit on Bethesda, but they
Oh, yeah.
really deserve it.
Yeah, they do.
So,
I mean, they earn it. It's like I'm not just giving out, shitty things for free here. I mean, I
uh-huh.
gotta hoard that for the ones that really deserve it.
There's plenty that do. But yeah, so maybe take some notes, Bethesda.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't port Skyrim for the 97th time. Uh, so many things I want to say about that, but I can't because I'm under an NDA.
You realize they're gonna do another port for Switch for Skyrim for the up and coming 4K Switch. Like, we know this is going to happen. It is a truth. I know. I know, I'm sorry, but it's not my
Todd,
fault.
why? Let me die already. All right, yeah.
Oy.
Anyway, so speaking of places where games get announced, E3 2021 is going to be an online event for free to
Hmm.
everybody.
Interesting.
So more details are going to be coming soon. Expect around the same time frame as usual, probably. I would expect that they wouldn't really move that around because it's kind of a staple of the tech industry, especially obviously with games. But, of course, they have to highlight PC hardware and all sorts of other things to support these games. Todd, don't. Similarly, Tokyo Game Show 2021 will also be online, running from the 30th of September to the 3rd of October with a separate press only event. I like it. This is going to be good. I really like seeing this kind of thing. Let the people see the events, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. So,
Accessibility is a big thing here. We've proven now in the past year plus that these things can still go on without a
mhm,
strictly physical presence. Let's keep that going.
absolutely. And I think it's really interesting how from the mid 90s onward, we just had this slow trend of being more open to the public, having more things that people can see with a less expensive pass. If you go for like a student press pass and whatnot, you get access to a little more things. And well, finally, they're obviously going to have press only events, but you have the majority of the show, which is much more catered toward the people who buy the games now instead of the reporters who tell people to buy the games. There's been that audience shift, and that's so nice. Like, I'm not ready to go to a PAX right now as much as I would love to. I'm not ready to go to any kind of game shows, but we still have some events that are fortunately being intelligent about what's going on in the world and people being apprehensive about travel, that these things are happening. So that gives us stuff to do when we're sitting at home wishing we weren't sitting at home. I'm looking forward to it. Um yeah, I don't think I have any other newsy news stuff. Of course, I'm probably going to remember much more throughout the show, but I think it's time for us to choose or rather go into our first set of songs.
Yes, I believe you're
You
correct.
All right. Well, there's going to be a running theme with mine. You might expect this by now, but we'll start with A Dream of Home by Rebecca E. Tripp from Final Fantasy V, going into Let the Decisive Battle on the Big Bridge Begin. You kind of have to like work that one out as it's kind of like one of those now and after puzzles on Wheel of Fortune. Anyway, I got totally sidetracked there.
Eh.
Let the Decisive Battle on the Big Bridge Begin by Ivan Hackstock and Juan Medrano from Final Fantasy VII. And we're going to end with Open Your Mind by Blue Lighter, also from Final Fantasy VII.
All right, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that every one of us is obligated to play games based on the fact that we talk about them every month, and also just because the world being in the state that it is, I think it's important, like 100% important for us to play games to be sane and whatnot. That's my really bad segue into what we've been playing.
I'll begin.
Okay, please do.
So, throughout the month of March, the only game I played on stream was Bravely Default 2. We began the game and we ended the game, and that's it. Guess the total amount of hours to go through that JRPG with me getting everybody up to level 99 and maxing everybody's job skills on everything, doing all the side quests and everything else. Yeah, hi.
Um, hmm. Well, if it's anything like what you did for Bravely Default 1,
Hmm.
I'm gonna say 70 hours.
A little north of that. Not
Oh,
much.
80 hours?
Yeah, I'd say it was about 79, 80-ish
Yeah.
hours. Yeah.
Okay.
So the game was less like the first, where the first game you had to be really clever to get the bad ending. Like it was a it toyed with your expectations. Like you thought you were doing the right thing and being like, haha, I'm gonna end the time spiral and we're gonna end the game. Yeah, no, no, no. That was the bad ending. So yeah, in this game it was
Hmm.
it's kind of like the movie Clue. So you get an ending and then it's like, but wait, what actually happened was, and then it did. But wait, what actually happened was, and then that was the good ending. But then there was another ending in there that if you didn't really think about it, you wouldn't get it. So at the beginning of the game, well, it kind of sets up your expectations for who it is trying to make you think the antagonist is. Around the big, I don't know, like maybe the first hour and a half into the game, if you're not rushing through it, um, you meet up with the antagonist here, and he kills somebody, and you're not meant to win that battle. But if you go back with a new game plus, and you're like, I'm gonna keep my levels and all my equipment, because who doesn't do that?
Right.
Um, yeah, you basically just go and curb stomp him in like 2 hits, and you get a different ending because it's like, "Oh, no, his grand plan to rule the world failed," and whatnot, but, like, the actual true antagonist is all like, "Oh, well, I guess he was a useless pile of shit, so let's just go fuck up reality," and then it's another bad ending. So, it was actually pretty cool. Um I liked it. It was interesting. This time around, you didn't have random encounters. You had enemies that appeared in these 3D dungeons that you were in. So it was kind of like the Tales of games where you run into an encounter and you
Mm-hmm.
see it
Mm-hmm.
clearly on the map first. So that was kind of neat. This game was extremely different in that instead of having to revive crystals in order to unlock ability slots, they just gave you 5 ability slots from the get-go. And,
And that's different from jobs, yes?
yeah, so basically what happens is as you level up a job, you can go through mm, you can go through 11 job levels, cough. Um, and as you level up the job, depending on which level you get a passive or an active skill that you can equip. So, for instance, like pirate, I ended up going through, I don't remember which level it was. I think it was like 8 or 9. And there was this ability called Indiscriminate Rage. And I feel that a whole lot.
As one does.
Exactly. Indiscriminate Rage in this game basically allows you to take your normal attack command and hmm, with no hindrance to the damage that gets applied, you hit everything. Not just one, you hit everything at the same
Hmm.
time. And the drawback to that is that you will go significantly later in the turn order after that. But the game Bravely Default, you, much like Octopath Traveler, have the opportunity to brave 3 times to have 4 total actions. So, well, that's all fine and good. Um, so I paired that with Mug, which, much like FF6's Mug, of course you had to equip Thief's Gloves to use that, but in this game you don't. So if you level your Thief job up, you get the Mug skill. It will, instead of attacking, it will also steal at the same time. But then there's another Thief ability that you can use that allows you to steal twice. And then there's another Thief ability that you can use that will give you a 25% chance of stealing rare things. So I kind of fucked the game a little bit. So eventually I figured this out and I was like, basically, once I learn all of these abilities and equip them, I can be a melee heavy attacker class and just farm the shit out of things. And rare drops in this game included such things as HP, I don't know, like bonuses to your HP and your speed and things like that. Like, it wasn't like it was in Pokemon where you got a PP up like maybe 3 times in the game or a protein or something like that. You just you farmed them.
So a permanent stat boost is what you could steal.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so basically at some point I had max health and max MP and everybody's evasion was like 300 and I was just like this is dying and I wasn't dying like even in the areas where I was not supposed to be yet, which was rare. Um yeah, I kind of broke the game.
So let me see if I've got the math right on this then. With Indiscriminate Rage and
Mhm.
Mug and 3 Braves, that gives you, on a single turn with a single character, 4 attacks across
Mhm.
the entire enemy party
Mhm.
with 2 chances to steal on each enemy with
Yes.
a 25% rare steal chance.
Yes.
Good gravy.
So basically, I just had the battle speed cranked up as high as I could, and I had auto battle turned on, much like Bravely Default 1 had, thank God. And I was just kind of running into these encounters and just letting it happen. And yeah, just like every time an attack would happen, just like the screen would fill up with like you stole this thing and you failed to steal this thing. And eventually it was like you have full stacks of this shit, you had to leave it there. Get fucked nerd.
Literal come
So
at me, bro moment.
so it was busted as
Oy.
fuck. Much like all of my favorite job system kind of forward games in JRPG land, like FF5, you know what kind of shenanigans are possible there, and
Oh
you
yeah.
can only equip a few things in that game if I think is it 2 or is it how many can you do in that game? I can't remember.
I think there was one ability you could equip outside your current job until
Ah,
you
right.
maxed things out and unlocked it for the freelancer class when you swap back to it.
Right. Okay, that is yes. So
Mm-hmm.
which does remind me that I need to go back and attempt a 4-job Fiesta for the first time because FF5 is such a good game. But regardless, yeah, it behaves a lot like FF5 except it's but wait, there's more. And you get these 5 ability slots from the get-go and oh boy. Yeah. I mean, like, after a while, you don't have to specialize. And much like the first Bravely Default game, the more jobs you master, the higher the stats are when you go to freelancer.
Hmm.
So I ended up going through and, okay, spoiler alert, I ended up getting all of the jobs to legendary level instead of mastered. And that jacked my stats even higher. And eventually, I ended up equipping something from the job class that Adam guy dropped that, I told you about the last possible bad ending that you do with
Mm-hmm.
New Game
Mm-hmm.
Plus. So, his job class has a skill in there where you can just surpass the damage limit. So, essentially, my build out was Freelancer is my primary job class. I had one White Mage as a secondary job class, and just her normal cure spell was mostly enough to just completely heal everybody. But Yeah. So I had Vanguard as the secondary job class, which had this one of the last things you learned in that was this like Neo Cross EX thing. And it was like two heavy hitting attacks. And well, tied with all of the other stuff with the attacking all of the enemies and stealing and etc. Like I was doing about at best, I was doing, let's see here, uh, about 160,000 HP damage a turn.
Across your entire party, or with just one character?
No, 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 that was across the entire
Okay,
party.
good.
So,
Wow. Oof.
yeah, and then you can have other passives on, like, when you do damage, you get MP back. So, like, I had this thing, as the 5th job skill or ability for a lot of characters, it was called Asper Magic. So, I was using MP to do damage, but the MP I got back from doing the damage was more than I spent, so it was just like this unlimited machine, and it was so good.
Goodness.
Mm. It just made me so happy because that's the kind of shit that I live for. JRPGs, you're meant to be busted, and I'm gonna find a way. Yes, that game was good because it gave me all of the good vibes. The story was okay, I guess, but I got that deep addiction filled, like, good brain scratching going on with the I'm breaking the shit out of this and there's nothing it can do. Yeah, that was about 80 hours of that. Tom was very patient, watched most of it. Thank you, Tom. I'm glad I could entertain you. So, yeah, no, that game is done. It's in the books. Um, I don't think I'll go back to it, but it's a good game. It's fun. It's just I wish it had a stronger story, but I mean, it's generic JRPG. Like, how many times can you do the same trope?
Did
It
they
has
leave it
crystals,
open?
and you save them, and what's that?
Did they leave it open for Bravely Default 3?
Um, I would say so. Yeah. Um, it was one of those things where like you're kind of meant to die at the end of the game, but you don't because you did the thing where you're the heroes of light thing, and
Right,
then
right, yeah.
the one character who you start out as, which is someone you can actually name, interestingly, um, was meant to stay dead, but the crystal that he was aligned with said, "Guess what, bitch? You still have a purpose. Get in there." And that was the end of the game. So, like,
Aw.
all 4 of the party members are alive at the end, and it's just kinda like, "Hmm."
Hmm.
So, this one okay, so hear me out here. Bravely Default had a sequel called Bravely Second.
Mhm.
Bravely Default 2 is not the sequel. What the hell was the sequel to Bravely Default 2? Is it going to be Bravely Second Second?
I don't know. Like they're gonna pull some Kingdom Hearts garbage and really fuck with numbers and
I don't know. I just don't know.
the defaulting, electric defaultaloo, or I don't know. Like who
Yeah, I
knows?
it in any case, that game is done, and a long time coming, I moved on to an entirely different genre. I moved into the battle royale scene, and it feels a little dirty to say that because everyone's like, "Oh god, Apex and PUBG and grime and dirt and death and everybody hates each other." And yeah, yeah, no, I got into something that was deceptively cute and innocent looking that is definitely not cute and innocent looking if you're actually familiar with the lore. So, there's this game. It's still in early access, soon not to be in early access. It goes live at the end of May. Super Animal Royale. So the premise is you get these cute little animals and you jump off of a giant eagle onto an island and you're pretending that you're one of Dr. Moreau's terrible experiments and you have to kill each other until one lives. Basically, it's Battle Royale except you're cute little animals. So
Okay.
basically the lore of this game really distilled down is humans found a way to make super animals, which nobody really knows how they existed, but there's hints that kind of say that humans were kind of fucked with DNA and they made super animals out of them. And then they basically just decided, hey, we're going to make an amusement park out of this and basically enslave them all. And eventually the animals were like, well, fuck that shit. And then they revolted. So now you have Super Animal World, which is the theme park on the island, and the Super Animal Rebellion, which are the two big factions of the game, and they're fighting each other. And basically the entire premise of the lore, I guess, was to basically give the super animals weapons and make them kill each other for humans' amusement, which is a little fucked up.
A little bit.
So there's that. I never grew up with keyboard and mouse gameplay on PC. I never played Doom or Wolfenstein or anything like that. Never got good at the twitchy stuff. Just it's incredibly out of my repertoire. Like, I grew up with a Nintendo controller in my hand, and that's it. And, yeah, trying to learn keyboard and mouse, not happening. That's something that I'm struggling with, and I will eventually work on it some more and become not sad. But it turns out the game has controller support, which, of course, if you're trying to move and aim at the same time, that really only means that there's one possibility there. It's twin stick. So I know that's probably exciting you to all ends, but so yeah. I tried a variety of controllers with this game. I tried the Xbox One Elite controller, I tried the PS4 controller, I tried the Switch Pro controller now that Steam has support for it. It's it's actually surprisingly playable. Now, I finally got used to running around and having to do like 5 button presses at any given time. Like, of course, you have to use the two analog sticks, one to move and one to
Mhm,
aim.
mhm.
You have to make sure that when you're trying to move, you jump roll because it's the fastest way to go. If you've played anything like Ocarina of Time, you would know that. But it's also faster if you have a melee weapon equipped instead of a gun because trying to roll around with a gun, like you're going to shoot yourself or it's just going to be cumbersome. So you have to keep all of these things in mind where it's like you have to get all of the gun drops and the ammo and all of the other support items and things like that while you're moving around and etc. Keeping your ears out to make sure that, hey, enemies are approaching. You have the kind of fog of war thing going on where if they're not in your immediate vicinity, you don't see them, but you can see all of the other like landscape around you and the
Mhm,
buildings and
mhm.
stuff. So there's all of that going on. Um, yeah. So in the last month, 2 weeks, realistically, I ended up getting to. Hmm, let me look. Um, where did I end up getting to? Pixile is the publisher, or rather the not publisher, the studio who made the game. Log me in. Okay. I'm level 25, about to hit level 26. They are currently on season 0. They have a season pass kind of thing going on. Um, there are people who are well beyond level 1000 in this game. But the more you play and level, the more cosmetics you get, the more random drops, the free currency in the game as a result of playing it, you can go buy more cosmetics and dances and all this other stuff. So basically they encourage you to keep playing so that you can get all of the unlockables and whatnot. It has a fairly robust milestone system where it keeps track of things like your kills and the amount of crates you destroy and the amount of times you slip on bananas, not bananas, bananas.
Bananas.
Um, yes, praise banan, by the way. Um, yeah. So there's just all sorts of things. Fantastic game. Their official Discord community is actually super, super welcoming and inviting. Um, I have frequently played in the last week with a person named Mango, who was one of the early adopters of the game, ended up becoming a moderator, and is just dangerously good. Um, and there's the joke that basically, Mango put on the backpack again so you can carry me. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, um, this game you can do solo, things by yourself. You drop onto the island with 63 other characters, which can include bots if they don't have a full lobby. There's revolving lobbies like every 2 minutes. Um, you can play duos. You can have squads of 1 through 4. So if you want to go in squad mode and potentially be up against 4 other people at the same time and just solo the whole thing, you can. Um, they have another mode that's disabled right now, which is 32 against 32, where you have to align yourself with a faction. So it's either Super Animal World or the Rebellion, and they just kind of go ham at each other.
Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
that I haven't experienced yet. That's the kind of thing that I think I would really enjoy because it would give you an opportunity to kind of specialize more instead of having to be a freelancer essentially where you have to be good at everything. You have to keep an eye out for people and revive them when they're downed. You have to make sure that you keep your ear out, that kind of thing. So, I think it will allow and of course this is theoretical. I think it would allow me to do more of a support role where it's like, hey, I'm gonna drag you out, I'm gonna heal you. Meanwhile, other people are tanking in the front there so that we can get you revived back out there again, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to getting into that again. That's a game mode that is presently disabled now. Um, of course, they do special events over holidays and things like that. The big thing right now is mystery mode, which can have any number 1 through 7 can be rolled here, and it's the game mode that you get. Like you get things that are shotguns and snipers only. You get Wild West mode where it's pistols and things like that, and everybody gets a cowboy hat. Um, you get Bananarama, where all of the ammunition are bananas, and you shoot bananas, and it's a thing. You get super fast bullets and super slow bullets and things like that. One hit kill, that kind of stuff. So very exciting. You never know what you're gonna get. So basically you queue up for mystery mode and eventually you get into the lobby and in the lobby it's like you're gonna be playing this mode. And once the lobby fills up and you get into the game, you do the thing. So much like a lot of battle royales, you start out in the air, you drop, you find a place, and you go from there. So I'm actually really surprised at how quickly I'm adapting to it. um, I'm actually getting kills instead of just not dying. Now, I think it's actually kind of funny. Something that people apparently, according to the people in the Discord, struggle with is there's an achievement for getting a pacifist victory where you don't cause any damage. So the first thing I did, the first win I had was a pacifist victory because I was just hiding in places and sneaking around as the circle kept getting smaller and smaller as the skunk gas was, enveloping us. Because that's the thing that they have there, like the poisonous gas. Oh no,
Hmm.
you're gonna
Hmm.
die. Call it skunk gas. So, um, that was my first victory, and I thought that was kind of hilarious because people are like, "How'd you get melee only? How'd you get this pacifist victory?" I'm like, I literally stood there and I drank health juice when I was getting damaged by the skunk gas that eventually, envelops the entire map. So it's basically a drink off at that point if people haven't shot each other to death. So,
Yeah. I
um,
was just gonna ask how that second last person ate it finally.
yeah, they were outgassed. So yeah, um, so that was entertaining. And of course, if you look in the milestones, there's a lot of things there that they just clearly say like, hey, you need to fail a landing a certain amount of times and you get an achievement or something like that. So if you don't have a graceful landing and instead you fall on your face enough times, you'll get some sort of little cosmetic thing out of it. I think I did it so many times now that I ended up getting this like flight helmet with a GoPro on top of it. It was kind of cute. So um, there's just a whole lot of things going on in that game. Every 10 levels, you unlock different species. As you win victories, you get these things called Carl coins or Carl's coins rather. So there's this cart in the game, and these Carl's coins are the free currency built into the game where you can go in and buy cosmetics and dances and hats and stuff like that. But they also have the paid currency, which is the ticket system that you can earn tickets throughout the season in the season pass, but it's not terribly many of them, but they also have things where you can just buy them like that. So they have a rotation of the shops, both of those shops every so often where you can just get all these things. Um, Yeah, it's cute. It's quick. I mean, a round typically is maybe about 6 minutes long at most. Just by the nature of when the timer goes and the skunk gas envelops things, and you can't out heal the skunk gas even with the highest heal rate, so you'll eventually die. So the rounds are pretty quick. Even if the lobbies aren't super busy, they have 3 regions total. You have the United States, or rather the America region, the European region, and of course the Asian region, which have their differing peak hours and whatnot. Um, all of the game modes are available on all of the regions. Um, it's hosted out in Google Cloud, so it just spins up instances as it needs and it spins them back down again. So cool scalable model there. If there aren't enough people to fill up an entire lobby, eventually the bots just fill in the last 10 seconds, and they are varying skills. Some of them will just continue to hunt you down until they kill you, or some of them will just fuck off after you roll away enough times and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a little variation in the AI there. Um, Several guns. I mean, there's different tiers of guns. You have your normal white weapons, which are just your normal plain Jane, whatever the hell it is, your SMG, your rifle, your whatever. And then you have green, blue, purple, and eventually yellow, which is legendary. And those are the most accurate. They do most damage. They that kind of thing. So you'll find weapons throughout the game. You can equip 2 of them, 2 firing weapons at the same time. You always have a melee weapon. That's the one that you can configure yourself with. Like right now, what do I have? Um, I have a pinwheel as my melee weapon. Um, but you can equip 2 different firing weapons at the same time. If you want to swap one out, you basically just select it and then do the button to pick up a weapon, and it swaps the thing that you have holding with the thing that's on the ground, that kind of thing. So fairly quick, easy to learn, pretty good UI. Um, I'd say localization is pretty strong. They have good translations for quite a few languages that are common. You have Spanish and Russian and things like that. Um, UI is fairly simplistic. You don't really have to know a whole lot about the genre beforehand to get into it. I mean, obviously, as you play, you're going to learn more of the meta, like certain guns will have faster firing rates and things like that. But you just kind of learn it by experience at that point. And of course, like I mentioned, there's the lore. Um, they have a YouTube series, Super Animal Royale Tonight, and it's animated and it shows the lore. It does exactly what it says on the tin. There are 2 newscasters who are aligned with the theme park employees that go through shenanigans throughout the various episodes of the show because the rebellion comes and like kidnaps them and things like that. So it's entertaining. It has a lot of clips of people who do either really good or really silly things in the game, that kind of stuff. It's also the vehicle that they use to announce upcoming events, patches that are coming out and things like that. So I haven't actually gotten through all of those. I have probably only watched like maybe 5 or 6 of the episodes because I just realized it was a thing. Um, but yeah, a fairly robust wiki. The developers are happy to drop little tidbits of information so that the wiki is accurate. I, of course, being a person who likes to work on things, ended up becoming a volunteer to edit and maintain some of the sites on the wiki. So that's kind of what I've been up to, among other things. So yeah, no, it's been really fun. I'm still getting used to the actual gameplay and being better at the game, but the community is really solid. The developers are responsive. They have a very robust feedback system. The developers do talk. They're engaged with the community. The mods play the game. They have events. They have a private match function where if people want to host an event like a tournament or a charity event, um, they can talk with the community manager and get access to the feature where they can create these lobbies with all these rules and things like that. So it's fun. I really want to see the game succeed. It's going to be out of early access in about a month and change. They keep saying it's going to be the end of May. They don't have a definitive date, but that's when they're going to be dropping season one. And yeah, one of the lead developers was dropping hot information about what that patch might include. last night in the feedback channel and with the, "Oh, I've said too much,"
Hmm.
kind of thing. So, big changes ahead. It's gonna be really fun. It's a free-to-play game. You can buy the Founders Edition until it comes out for real, at which I'm not really sure, but they're gonna rename the paid version. But regardless, it's a fairly inexpensive purchase. The $20 will get you quite a bit of in-game things to get you started. Otherwise, it's free to play. You can literally just make a username, or rather, it's attached to Steam, so of course it's attached to Steam. But you install the game, you play it, and just over time, things will drop. Like you don't have to buy things if you don't want to. Eventually, things will go through the rotation of being drops or things that you can buy in the free shop and things like that. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'd recommend giving it a shot. Uh huh. But yeah, that is all of what I've been playing in the last several, God, 4 weeks. Yeah, it's been a month.
Yeah,
Wow.
has been a month.
2 games. That's all I've played.
Hey, but you played the heck out of them, it sounds like, so that's the important bit.
Yeah, no, they're both really great. Yeah, kick it off to you.
All right. Well, at last show, I was just wrapping up with Receiver 2, and I did polish that off shortly after last show. Ashamedly, I have to admit that I had to cheat to get through it.
Okay.
I think I explained pretty well in detail about how kind of Receiver 2 operates and its prequel Receiver. It's supposed to be a gun simulation game. It's in first person mode. It's a shooter of sorts. But you have to manually load your magazines, clear any jams or misfires in your gun, put the safety on before you holster it, because otherwise you'll shoot yourself. So it's much more complex and thinky than it sounds, which is very much not usually what I go for. I'm usually like, high action, get me in there, get me the twitchy action, very much opposite of what you're accustomed to there, Tormod. So having to kind
Mhm.
of think through all of that whilst running for your life sometimes, whilst having maybe one bullet or none, depending, and things are out to get you. And there were more than I think my fair share of accidental self kills. And the kind of the conceit of the game is there's 5 levels through it, but each time you die, you get shoved back a level, uh,
Hmm.
which is very harsh,
Yeah, a little bit.
especially as it gets very difficult in the later levels. And then if you fuck up once, say you run a little bit too fast for your brain to catch up and you take a dumb bullet in the back or something, you go back a level. So it's like,
Uh-huh.
well, crap. Luckily, there's a type in code that lets you advance to the next level. And
Okay.
I cheated a little bit to not go back levels all the time. I just wanted to kind of maintain myself at a certain level until I passed it and then, proceed on from there.
Sure.
But my goodness, it was very fun. Like it's almost cerebral a little bit in thinking about doing these things and then doing them fluidly and not taking bullets where you shouldn't be taking bullets. But it was a very good time. I still kind of boot it up every now and again, even after the fact, and try. I'm trying to play it through without cheating, and it's not going well. I think I've been bopped back down to level 1 at least a dozen times, and I'm so disappointed because I know I can do it, but I get impatient and I get aggressive, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is easy. I just got one more thing to find, and then pop, and I'm like, shoot. It's a really fun game
Yeah.
though. The only kind of unfortunate bit about it, I don't know if this, and I might have mentioned this last time as well. I don't know if this is exclusive to the native Linux version of the game, but every 40 minutes or so, it goes into PowerPoint mode, where
Hmm.
it's, like it goes from a smooth 60 frames or whatever down to 20 frames a second, which makes it very difficult to play. Luckily, just closing and restarting it works fine. It's perfect. Plus, there's something about breaking glass in the game that causes hard crashes every now and again, which loses all the progress in the level. So you're kind of got another source of stress to deal with. And again, I don't know if this is just the native Linux version or whatever, but it makes it harder to enjoy. But I do still enjoy it a lot. I'll probably still continue to play it until I can clear the entire thing without cheating. It's a goal. It's a goal I've got. After that, I started playing 30XDX. or 30XX, 30XX, whatever. I call it 30XDX because it sounds funny. This is the direct sequel to 20XX, a Mega Man action platformer roguelike, which is super cool. All the levels are kind of proc-gen with different zones to them. You gain abilities as you go on, you gain health, and you gain speed, and you gain attack power, and all that. 30XDX is still in early access right now, so there's not a whole lot of content to it, but what the stuff that's there is extremely fun. The music is top tier as it was in 20XX. The graphics are the 20XX's graphics were already pretty cool. It's got that nice, very smooth pixely aesthetic that I really go for. 30XX is so good. And the levels are good. There's I think six or seven bosses in it right now. I'm hoping that gets added to very, very quickly, and as soon as it hits full release, which I don't know when that's going to be, but when it does, I mean, the content in there is going to be I'm going to have to revisit it for another set of streams because it's just such a fun game.
Excellent.
So I wrapped with that, and now I've started on Curse of the Dead Gods. This is a roguelike dungeon crawler. It's got kind of almost a painterly aesthetic to it, like Darkest Dungeon does.
Okay.
Sort of cell shaded, but very artistic, very kind of. It's got a really cool set of harsh lighting effects, which is almost makes it like a natural fog of war type thing. Very, very sharp looking, very cool. Lots of stuff to unlock. My goodness, like I'm not great at the game just yet. And I've probably unlocked maybe about a third of the stuff, and I'm 2 weeks in. 2 weeks? 2 weeks into it, yeah. So that's probably going to go for maybe a third or a fourth week, because it is a lot of fun.
Nice.
Another game that I think rewards aggression and being impatient, which is good, but you also have to have the execution to back that up, which I don't have yet. So it ends up with a lot of silly deaths and stupid shit that I should have avoided but didn't. But all in all, learning
That's a mood.
experiences. Yeah, right? It's like, oh, well, that's on me, I guess, but I'm still going to be salty about it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
But that's still going. I'm really looking forward to playing that again this coming Monday. On the SBC side of things, the shmup for the month of April is Super Swiv, also known as Firepower 2000 in America here. This was a game that I selected that got voted in that I'm kind of having second thoughts about. It's not a fantastic game. There's a lot of good ideas to it that just aren't executed very well. It's fun and neat, and it's got these it's got this kind of like you get like 4 or 5 different weapons you can pick up, and they have levels to them 1 through 7 or whatever. But each time you die, all of your weapons lose a level, and everything has so much health in that game that essentially, if you miss picking up weapons or you take a dumb death at the bad time, you're done. Like, there's no way you can proceed because you just get smoked a time and time again. It's just an exercise in frustration sometimes. Surprisingly, I did manage a full clear of it the first night I played, kind of accidentally. It's not a terribly difficult game, but again, the timing on your deaths and missing pickups is that's it. You can't do much about it after that point. So it's like, it's fun. I wish it were executed better so I could like it more, but it's definitely a game. Our new quarterly for quarter 2 of April through June of 2021 is Rayforce. More of a standard top-down shmup. It's got an interesting conceit to it where it's got kind of 2 separate play fields to it. The foreground, where you operate in, where you can get hit by bullets and obstacles and whatever. And then there's also a background plane to it that you can target enemies in there with a secondary laser weapon. And the major scoring mechanic to that is the more targets you... And there was some debate about this in SBC chat the other day. The more targets you destroy in sequence with your secondary laser, it counts up like 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 16, etc., etc. And you can do that up to 8 times. So the real big scoring thing is to rack up those combos while also staying alive, while also kind of thinking about when the next chain of things you can do is, on top of already being a very difficult game to begin with, because it's a standard arcade game here. Give it your quarters and hope for the best type thing. Very fun game. Like, everybody's been having a good time with it. We all try to swap strategies or whatever, and it's just always a good time with the SPC folks. The other kind of quarter and a half that's still going, ending up at the end of April here, is Sanvine. That's a PS1 twin stick shmup. I think I went into detail with this last time
Ooh.
as well. Kind of an odd thing for a shmup like that to be twin stick. But it's very interesting. The scoring in that game is such that you don't get points for directly destroying enemies. You get points for clearing boss levels, and it's based on how strong your weapons are at the time, which is determined by how many rooms around the current area you're in are cleared, as well
Hmm.
as how much time you have left by the time you finish off that boss. And the time
Okay.
goes quick. It's like Nintendo seconds almost. You start with 600, what do they call it? Remain of time, I think. It's not very well localized, I don't think, but it's called Remain of Time, and it goes down real fast. You start with 600, and it just ticks down and ticks down and ticks down. Every boss you beat, the mini bosses and then the actual stage boss give you back time. And I don't remember how many like total boards or stages or whatever there is. I think it's 5 or 6. Yeah, you might be able to chime in on that one really. But it's a very difficult game, but it's very fun. And it being twin stick is, it's up my alley. But then it's also like, well, this is kind of weird to try to adapt to for a shmup. But all right, let's give it a go, I guess. So that's SBC. Sunday long plays. I've spent the last 5 or 6 long plays playing Crosscode. They dropped a new DLC content expansion shortly before I started playing it again. And it was one hell of an expansion. They left off the game and the story at a point where, oh, hey, you can have your bad ending where it pretty much just stops where you're at, or you
Hmm.
can do the certain conditions to unlock the good ending, which they didn't have done, so they left it to this DLC pack. Um, and then you would move on and play the DLC and advance the story and do all sorts of things. Excellent update. Just very much exactly the highest amount of quality you would expect out of Crosscode. It's a very fun game. Again, very pretty, very very nice sounding. Some feels to it, depending on how much you want to get into the story, which is okay and good. And then in the DLC itself, at the end, there is definitely a kind of another opening for another DLC after the fact. So I'm hoping that comes true because I love the game so much, and I'm looking forward to whenever that happens, if it does happen. For Saturday grab bags, I've done a handful of LTTP randos. I'm trying to work myself up to entrance rando
Okay.
by doing everything but in a single thing. So open mode, key sanity, enemy rando, boss
Uh-huh.
shuffle. No, I'm not really a big fan of retro, so I don't tend to do that or inverted. Um, but I figure if I can get pretty practiced up on that, kitchen sink of garbage there, I might
Uh-huh.
be able to tackle an entrance rando at some point.
So, have you gotten 7 Trinexes yet?
No, no, I don't turn on like chaotic boss shuffle. I leave it at
Damn.
full, so there's only a max of
Okay.
of 3 doubled up bosses. I did have the unfortunate luck of getting a double Trinex one time, in Ganon's Tower of all places. So
Ooh.
that was not extremely fun. I might have rage quitted that one. But yeah, I'll do an entrance rando eventually with that. I did also throw a grab bag of Spelunky 2 up in there as well. And that's actually going to end up being my next Sunday long play selection. When
Okay.
I did my normal run through of Spelunky 2 on stream, I ended up getting not the super secrety ending, but kind of the second tier ending. And I really
Okay.
want to work up to kind of at least try to throw all of the different little niggly things together that you need to do before you can get to that ending, because it's like a sequence of 6 or 7 things, and you can.
How do you know if it's a secret?
Right, exactly. I had to look some of them up because I'm like, you know what, the thrill of discovery is all fine and good, but I got shit to do. I
Yeah.
got shit to do, and I want to see what this is. So I looked it all up. I'm like, wow, okay, this is going to be a problem. Uh, let's maybe not do this on normal stream. Let's wait for a bit. So I'm probably
Uh-huh.
going to pick that up this Sunday, and then we'll see how many Sundays of that I continue to do. It's a hell of a fun game. I love it. It's just extremely brutal. it
Yeah.
it is not interested in your success at all. Which having the genesis of Spelunky, yep, that makes sense. Thanks. Thanks for that.
So I have to wonder now because it seems like it's been a while. When are you going to do PB attempts again?
Oh, good lord.
You know what I'm talking about.
I've never tried to do a speedrun of Spelunky 2. I never got far enough or advanced my skill enough to really feel comfortable doing that. I did it a little bit for Spelunky 1. I think my best is to like a 4-minute something for
Okay.
a normal run, not a hell run, which is still, I think it's reasonable, at least for me. Spelunky 2 is so much more to it that it's, oof, I can't even imagine how I would fare with that, since my ability to even get a normal ass run in that is probably single-digit percentages. But I don't know. Maybe I'll think about it. I'll think about trying it at the very least.
Cool.
If I do that, I can almost guarantee seeing the first zone for a long time.
That's fair.
Even in my normal play of it, it's like, well, I'm glad this music is awesome because I'm gonna hear a lot of it. But yeah. I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe that'll end up being a couple grab bags or something on top of the long plays too, because experience is a must to be able to think quickly enough and execute on things in the right sequence at the right time without having to think about it all the time before success can be had there.
I do enjoy watching you suffer, so you'll have to let me know.
So do a lot of people, apparently.
Hey, I mean, you got a good business going.
It's all in good fun though. Like it's an extremely brutal game. Like I will never not call Spelunky a friendly game to the player. But it is enjoyable. There's just so many crunchy systems interacting, and it's gotten to the point right now where I'm saying less of what the hell killed me and more of, oh, okay, I could have avoided that a few seconds ago, but my brain didn't fire fast enough to do that. So, all right, that's fair. That's fair. Begrudgingly. But yeah, real good time, real good game. All right, I believe it is time for some more Toonskis.
Sounds good.
Whew. Okay, first off, we have a remix from Metroid entitled Vast Infinities by Gaspode, and then a remix from Chrono Trigger entitled The Journey to the Darkest Depths by Schneider Souza, and then finishing up with a remix from The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening entitled Hacking the Yanis System by Julien Moulard. Okay, I feel we've gotten fairly lucky with our genres and themes the past couple times, so I'm a little bit worried about what RNG might hand us tonight. But I guess we should get to it, huh?
I'm ready to click the button if
Oh,
you're ready for me to do it.
okay, go for it. I'm ready to type this out.
All right, roll one. Da da da. Oh God.
Mm-mm.
This one seems actually kind of possible. Okay, your game has 3 genres and 4 themes.
Okay, that's a lot to work with.
It is. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, genre number 1, tower defense.
Okay.
Genre number 2, military combat.
All right.
And genre number 3, construction.
All right. Very well suited to each other, I suppose.
Indeed. I
That good.
This is what it says. Themes. Number 1, solution.
All right.
Number 2, presentation.
Okay.
Number 3, environment.
All right.
And the last, requirements. This basically is a tower defense game.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah, I mean, it basically is just kind of like make a tower defense game with some guns.
Yeah, that almost seems like really vanilla.
Office Space, the tower defense. We already kind of did that. That was one of MrBond's personal designs before we started doing this.
Was it? Oh yeah, you're right. It
Well,
was.
it wasn't necessarily a tower defense, but it was
No.
escaping the office.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it sure was.
which was
That's
kind of awesome.
very much an Office Space-esque thing, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. So like my first judgment on these 3 genres and 4 themes is it's almost boring.
It
I'd
is.
say it's just like, okay, these fit together really well, but it's like, oh man, that doesn't leave a lot of room to
No,
be wild. So I'm okay with a reroll if you're good with a reroll.
I absolutely am.
Okay,
All right.
let's try again.
Roll number 2. Three genres and 1 theme.
Okay.
Genre 1, proc gen.
Okay. Sure.
Genre 2, RPG.
Oh no. Hit both of our best ones.
Uh-huh. Genre 3. You ready for the curveball?
Yeah.
Dating sim.
Oh dear. Okay.
And the cherry on top. The theme is passion.
Okay. Well, I didn't really expect to be writing erotica tonight, but
Yes.
this is where we are.
This is the world we live in.
Phew.
Right.
Well, okay, that's definitely better in the more unique aspect of things. Boy,
I already have a requirement.
Okay. What do you got?
So the dialogue needs to be AI generated proc gen crap.
Oh, like GPT-2 or 3-esque?
Kinda.
Okay.
Yes, Markov chains,
Markov
exactly.
chains, okay. All right. I can see that happening. That would knock out the proc gen aspect with something not awful, maybe.
But also, so the proc gen part of it is where it becomes random. So your dating options, your date options, I guess. What kind of chaos will befall you throughout, and how you're going to deal with it. You're going to be given a limited set of everything you can choose from, and it will make a scenario based on the things that it can roll. So what it's going to do is it's first going to randomize all of these categories and then generate a scenario that can possibly include all of these so that you at least have a chance to choose. I'm going to call that proc gen.
Okay, yeah, I think that fits. I'm gonna assume then at this point that this is the one we're going with, since we're already kind of laying out frameworks of this.
I mean, I kind of thought it spoke for itself.
Yeah, yeah, no, I like it. I like it. I like it.
Okay.
So, all right. So
I'll let you get caught up.
I'm gonna hop down to mechanics and type in some of this stuff.
Sure.
So Markov chains. I'm gonna slip GPT in there as well, because that's been a fairly popular thing, I think, recently, is people going through AI dungeon and shit and just like having a ball with it. So long as GPT 2 is 3. Generated dialogue, right? That's what we were going for. Oh boy. All right. Okay. I'm gonna say this is probably one player. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any like easy out with this with more than one player. So one player it is. The objective, huh? So.
Oh no. So, what if we take one of these genres very literally? What if we say that the goal is to get through these proc gen scenarios in order to role play?
In order to role play.
That's the goal, is to role play.
Oh, I see.
The goal is to role play.
Okay, so this is a meta we're already talking about, huh? Okay. So advance. Oops, got caps lock on there. Advance the role playing by solving these. I don't know. Well, not solving. Maybe solving isn't the right word for it. By
navigating these interpersonal scenarios.
Interpersonal scenarios. Yeah, there we go. That's real good. Okay.
I got to keep my shit together. This is really funny in my head.
Okay, this is kind of wild. All right, inventory. Since we're going along with the proc gen stuff and we're doing interpersonal things like a random assortment of gifts and knickknacks that you can give to the other that you're wooing here.
I guess. I would maybe roleplay props.
Yes, knickknacks. Roleplay. Roleplay props. Okay.
I really just want to like start typing in the stuff as you're typing and just insert an ooh in there somewhere, because
I mean, you probably could without me seeing it. It wouldn't matter.
It would fit it so well.
Okay, so honestly, I wonder if we should combine story and hook for this one and future goes.
Totally
fine.
fine.
It almost seems like that's what we do anyways.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
The story and or hook. So all right. How about this? You're in a self-help group. And
good start.
Yeah. And you don't want to be there. And the fastest way to get through it is to bullshit your way through this meta of interpersonal scenarios to advance the role playing. It's not great, I'll admit, but
that's decidedly less spicy than I was hoping.
Oh, well, see, I don't know. Okay, how would you spice it? How would you like to spice it up then?
Okay, let's think this one through. So,
like, I didn't want to go the skeeve route and say, "Hey, you're there to mac on everybody," in this self-help group thing. That would be kind of weird, but
Okay. How about this? So you are someone who is stuck on a family vacation in the mountains in a cabin, and you refuse to go out with your parents to do stuff outside, and you're just putzing around on the internet, desperate for any kind of attention you can get.
Okay, all right. Can we merge a little bit of this here? So you're on a family vacation.
Uh-huh.
You refuse to go out with said family because they're idiots.
Mm-hmm.
So you seek solace on the internet in the form of a
Forum-based roleplay.
forum-based roleplay.
Oh god. Yeah,
Oh
the
God,
scenarios write themselves. That's how it's proc
they
gen. The
really
forum
do.
responses.
They really do, don't they?
Oh shit. That's so good. I didn't even think of that until we were just typing the rest of that sentence up.
On a set of roleplay forums, I'm gonna just clean that up a bit. Oh boy. Okay. Well. All right. So graphic style then I'm seeing as like classic ass web browser, like
Yes.
Netscape,
Mm.
etc.
Okay. Let me think this. Oh shit. We can't do that. That would be too furry. I was gonna say like the old mud servers.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Um
So what were the two big ones, like vBulletin and PHPBB, right?
oh god. Yeah, let's do it. Let's
As
do it. Let's
forums
pretend that we're in the early 2000s so that we can relive our heyday. God,
with
I can't say that
threads.
with a straight face.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
Okay. Audio style. How about various notification sounds, right?
Oh god, yes. Yes.
Um, how about like some ambient hard drive noises too? If we're gonna like take this back to late 90s, early thousands, right?
Sure. All right, we can throw in the occasional modem disconnect and having to dial
Yeah.
back up again.
Modem dials is good.
Uh-huh.
CD grinding, dirty.
Well.
Hmm.
All right, what am I thinking of here? BBSs.
Yes.
Yes.
And or BBSs.
Good old bulletin board.
Threads, different boards. Okay. I'm thinking of another mechanic here that in order to advance or swap
Oh,
off the
no.
current board or thread, you need to gain enough. I really hate saying like reputation or something like that because that's like
That's exactly what it is.
that invokes Reddit and shit, and I don't like it. But let's go with it.
I mean,
accumulate enough reputation on a given thread and or board to advance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You must be a silver member to apply.
Very good.
Gross.
All right. Input method sounds like keyboard or text heavy, right?
I would, yeah.
Text heavy input. Probably a reasonably intelligent parser.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea incoming.
Oh. Okay, so this is basically a very meta roguelike.
Okay. Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Oh no. Oh shit. Okay. Yep. Nope. This is perfect, and we're gonna continue down this road. We have to.
Posts. Okay. All right. Your point of view is kind of self-explanatory.
You're staring at
really.
a monitor.
Yeah.
Occasionally you have to get up, or you see something on the periphery of outside of where the end of the plastic of the display is. You just see some stupid shit happen outside the window. Like dad face plants in a lake after trying to windsurf or something. I don't know.
You see a monitor in front of you. There are exits to your north.
Oh no.
Exits to your north and south. All right. Tongue in cheek, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay.
Go to the mailbox. Go to the mailbox.
Hoy. I mean, this kind of explains a lot of itself. What I feel like we maybe missed is some of the passion.
Uh-huh. Oh no. No. Okay. This is a resort. And it's the BBS for the folks at the resort. Oh,
Hmm.
maybe. Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. Where did we put that? Story and hook? Oh, okay, yeah. At a resort. So fantasy seeks solace on the internet on a set of roleplay forums specifically for resort guests, right?
Yes.
Good lord. Is
Yes.
this next door for a resort for a fucking proc gen RPG dating sim? Oh my goodness. I can't believe what we're doing here. That's not true. I can believe it.
Hey man, the dice rolled it.
Yeah, it did. And it was better than the first one. So,
Much better.
okay.
Because we already did a tower defense. Like,
We
come
did.
on.
Like, wasn't that like one of the first ones we did in this
Yeah,
new
I'm pretty
style?
sure it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we had the tower defense with the multiple layers in the tree, and yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna change up our objective a bit,
Okay.
and our objective is now to pass time
Uh-huh.
by navigating interpersonal scenarios on the resort's forums. Oh my god.
Totally not trying to hook up with people.
No. No hookups allowed.
Good.
No hookups allowed.
Keep it PG-13.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh, that is true, EI. You have a definite point there. You have to leave your vacation buddies behind. That BBS you dialed into is a local only.
It sure is. Is this like a hard time, like a hard real time limit? Maybe like, hey, you get
I would say so.
You get 2 hours. Good luck.
Yeah.
All right.
And you can see all sorts of the
hard
stupid antics your
time
folks
limit.
are up to, or other people outside the window.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can look out the windows of the room, but that wastes BBS time.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, valuable. Oops. BBS time.
Yep. So we're definitely going to be spoofing on Hyperterminal.
Oh, okay.
And AOL. We have to.
And AOL. Yeah. Oh, AOL, AIM, ICQ.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you've got to manage your time between these forums and BBSs and various IM programs too, huh?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. You need the IM program so that people can DM you.
Yep.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Sliding into those DMs. Water slide.
Boards, etc. Okay. Okay. So what's the ultimate win condition here? Is it to find somebody to go out with to escape this damn family vacation?
No, I have it.
Okay.
To get their phone number.
Ha! Ah! You need to get someone's phone number.
Oh no. Are we going to be calling Jenny? 8675309.
That's the bad ending. That's when you know you fucked up, when you get that
Yep.
number.
You get the very obvious fake phone number.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, damn it. God damn
What?
it! I saw what you put there.
I mean,
We can leave that one as an Easter egg for the notes.
Hmm. Okay, I kind of like it. Um, covered proc gen, covered RPG. Yeah, we like literally RPG, right?
Uh-huh.
We covered dating sim, and passion works its way in there. Okay.
However, misguided.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So now the hardest thing in the damn world, figuring out a title for this.
Okay. I had something in mind. I gotta improve upon it though.
Okay. Well, we'll start it out so we can bounce it back and forth.
Okay.
Is it dirty?
No.
Aw.
You've got. Yeah. Anyway.
You've got indistinct noises. Okay.
Angry digital converted to analog.
Indistinct modem noises.
Yeah, there we go.
You know what? I think that works. Like,
oh no.
Honestly, like
you've got modem noises.
You've got
exactly.
Oh, okay. I've thought about like some random secret thing you could find. You could find different dial-in numbers to find some of the more torrid boards out there.
You can find trial discs with more hours.
Ah, nice. There we go. Oops. Yeah, okay, that's right. Inventory. There we go. All right. Find trial discs to extend your time. Find other dial-in numbers.
Oh no.
To access better boards. Okay.
And sometimes those are literally just DM'd to you like, hey, try this one. And you just don't really know what it is until you go.
Either in the room or get from DMs. Okay.
God. Oh.
All right. I think that's good. Like I think we hit it. We hit it real nice there. Oh my god.
We're being judged for it. That's all you know it's good.
Hey, that's fine. Whatever. Judge away. This is what we get to work with, so this is what we did.
It's true. We had to follow the command of the genre generator.
That's right.
Hosted on Baroque Creations, by the way. So this lovely thing that we're using is baroque-creations.com/genre-generator. You click the button that says suggest a game for me, and it will give you a number of genres and themes, and that's what we're using to make these games live on stream. I'd play this.
I would too, but I wouldn't admit to playing it. That's not true. I probably would. I'd be like, whatever. What are you gonna do about it?
A ZHP After Dark production.
Oh god. All right. Shall we wrap that one then? That is
carefully chosen words there.
Yeah. Not that carefully, but yeah, we'll go with it. One of the weirder ones we've done, I think.
Oh yes.
But we did it in pretty good time too. Like,
yeah.
Once we hit a couple of the major things, and it's just like, all right, let's put this and this and this, and yep, all right.
Yep.
All taken care of. Oh my goodness. It's amazing.
It is. I have to say though, like all of the ones that we've done with the randomized genres and themes live on stream have been bangers.
Yeah.
Like
there's definitely not any weak ones. Like these could all conceivably be good things.
Conceivably.
That's the carefully chosen word.
I see.
But yeah, I don't know. I like that one. That one's real nice.
You've got indistinct modem noises.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps our ad hoc design there, and that about wraps insert credits round 89 here.
That's true.
Any further nuggets of wisdom we need to impart? Otherwise, we can call this a night.
I think we're done. The only thing I'm going to plug is, of course, animalroyale.com. The game is free to play. You can choose to buy the Founders Edition until it goes live in about a month and change. Come play with me.
All right.
That's all.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching and/or listening. That will do it for Insert Credits Round 89. I'm MrBond.
And I'm Tormod.
We'll leave you with our typical closing track, a remix from Mario Kart Wii entitled Wind in Your Hair by Overclocked University. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.